The air hung heavy, thick with the metallic scent of blood. A crimson stain bloomed on the white silk sheets like a macabre rose.
She traced its edges, a chilling smile playing on her lips. This was her masterpiece, her symphony of pain.
Her name was Serafina, though her victims knew her by a different name, the Crimson Widow. Each murder was a meticulous ballet, a dance of death orchestrated with chilling precision.
Their terror, their pleas for mercy, it was all music to her ears.
Tonight, however, a discordant note jarred her senses, a flicker of unease, a prickle of foreboding. Dismissing it as exhaustion, she prepared to leave, her ritual complete. As she slipped out into the night, the city lights seemed to mock her with their indifference. They knew her secrets, the darkness she carried within, and they didn't care.
Serafina disappeared into the shadows, the echo of her victim's screams a haunting lullaby in the cold night air.
She hadn't always been Serafina, the bringer of death. Once she was a girl named Lily, a child with eyes as bright as the summer sky. Her laughter was the sweetest melody, her smile a beacon of light. But childhood innocence was a fragile thing, easily shattered.
Lily's world was a tapestry woven with the threads of her father's drunken rages and her mother's silent tears. The air crackled with tension, the threat of violence always looming.
Then came the night that shattered her world. The night the monster in her father finally broke free. Lily watched, helpless, as he turned his rage on her mother, the woman who was her everything.
The memory was a festering wound, a constant reminder of the day her soul splintered into a million pieces. It was the genesis of her hatred, the seed of darkness that would one day consume her.
Years passed, each one chipping away at the remnants of Lily's innocence. She learned to mask her pain, to wear a smile that hid the storm raging within.
She found solace in the arms of a man who promised her sanctuary, who swore to protect her from the world's cruelty.
But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Her husband, her protector, was ripped from her life in a hit and run. The driver, a drunk man who couldn't even recall the face of the life he had taken.
It was then that Lily truly died. From the ashes of her grief rose Serafina, forged in the fires of rage and despair. Men, she realized, were the architects of her pain. They were the destroyers, the bringers of chaos and suffering.
And she would have her revenge.
Section 4. The Price of Pain. I became a phantom, a whisper in the night. I preyed on men who mirrored my father's cruelty, men who mistook weakness for vulnerability. Each death was a sacrament, a sacrifice at the altar of my pain. Their blood washed away the remnants of my guilt, their dying breaths a symphony of retribution. For a fleeting moment, I found a twisted sense of peace in their suffering. But it was a fleeting reprieve, a momentary lull in the storm that raged within me. The faces of my victims blurred together, each one a grim reminder of the man who had taken everything from me. I became a prisoner of my own making, trapped in a cycle of violence and despair. But even in the depths of my darkness, a flicker of Lily remained, a flicker that would soon ignite a firestorm. Section 5. Blood will have blood. A letter arrived, its arrival as unexpected as a spring bloom in winter. It was from my daughter, a child I had given up for adoption years ago, a child I had tried desperately to forget.
Their reunion was a collision of two worlds. The daughter, bright and full of life, was everything Serafina could have wished for and everything she could never have. Their bond was instant, a visceral connection that transcended years of separation. But fate, it seemed, was a cruel puppet master.
I was drawn to the city by a force I couldn't explain. I became inextricably tangled in my mother's web of secrets. I became the unwitting key to her downfall, a pawn in a game I never knew I was playing.
As the walls closed in, Serafina was forced to confront the consequences of her actions. The cycle of violence, she realized with a chilling certainty, would never truly end. It would only perpetuate, consuming everything in its path. The question was, could she save her daughter from suffering the same fate?